Okay, well I just thought I put this comment here, Steve mumbling 0 seconds ago. I put it on here earlier on. This is on Kremlin Jones's reply to comment 62 video, Steve mumbling, and he deleted it. So I'm just recording myself putting it on there again. There you go, deleted my comment already. You really can't handle the truth. Here it is again from this, which is an article about Alex Jones saying he knowingly lied about the Sandy Hook massacre and that it was 100% real. This he said this, testifying on Wednesday, Jones acknowledged the Sandy Hook attack was 100% real and apologised for having hurt these people's feelings. And I put, just bullshit for money, just like everything else in the conspiracy business. I watched Colin Woeful interviewing Bob Brown on MJ's channel. It was obvious Colin didn't believe a word of what Brown was saying. Brown is a good storyteller, and I got the impression he had told these stories many times, but it was all absolute rubbish. The conspirasphere is crumbling. You'll have to peddle some more science fiction nonsense to try and prop it up, Ben. Okay, so you can see that is posted, that comment. So I'll post the video so that you will know that I posted it on Ben's channel, and if it's not there now, he's deleted it. But what that guy Bob Brown was saying on Miles Johnston's channel is just absolute nonsense. It was talking about Billy Meyer, you know, the one-armed woodcutter. Certainly aliens are going to fly across the galaxy to talk to a one-armed woodcutter, aren't they? And remember that Billy Meyer's wife, of course, when she left him, said that he'd made all those flying saucer models out of trash cans, and that it was all complete and utter rubbish. And this guy goes on to talk about 10 crash retrievals in the southwest. Well, these aliens would have to be the worst drivers in the galaxy, wouldn't they? To all crash in the south, 10 of them to crash in the southwest of the United States. Kremlin Jones say, oh yeah, well, looks like lightning might have something to do with the alien spacecraft crashing. Absolute nonsense. Of course, aliens would have seen lightning before. You know, if they can engineer a spacecraft to fly around the galaxy, they're going to engineer it so that it can deal with things like lightning and, you know, solar storms on other stars, you know, all sorts of, you know, interstellar nasty stuff that's out there. They're going to be engineered to withstand all that, you know, micrometeorites, you know, all this sort of stuff. Lightning is not going to bring down an alien spacecraft. Nothing will. No alien spacecraft has ever crashed on Earth. There is zero tangible evidence to support one single crash of an alien spacecraft. Actually, I might do a couple more clips while I'm here. I'm just waiting for some paint to dry so I can put a second coat on. So I'll do another clip and add it and join it onto this. Okay, now here's a pretty good example of denial. Now, Kremlin Jones, every single time you say, well, why has no one ever found a single Bigfoot skeleton? You know, he said, oh, because it's suppressed. You know, it'd be impossible to suppress that, of course. The amount of park rangers out there and tourists out there and everything, it'd be impossible to suppress. And this is another argument he uses with regard to the water-powered car. I think it is all free energy. And let's just have a listen.
Just an idea, Steve, to make you realise that people are willing to keep secrets like this.
Hundreds of thousands of people all over the planet would have the ability to make a free energy machine if what Kremlin Jones says is true. He said it's simple, you just make this thing and you get unlimited free energy, you know. Well, show us, Ben. If it's that simple, show us. I don't know how to do it. None of my colleagues know how to do it. We'd have a crack at it, absolutely. We thought there was something to it. We're not scared of being taken out for a meal and murdered. You know, hundreds of thousands of people would not be scared of being taken out for a meal and murdered. It's ludicrous.
And secrets can't be kept. Steve.
No, they can't.
Says here, the water car has been debunked over and over again. Meyer was found guilty of fraud in this regard. He framed and then killed.
No, if see, what you've got to bear in mind is that you know, all his patents after his death were no one took any of them up because they were all rubbish. And the conspiracy people will say, oh yeah, well the patents aren't complete, that's why no one can duplicate it. You know, if they take all these instructions and build one, it doesn't work. And the reason, of course, it doesn't work is that it never worked. It's all complete and utter rubbish. Absolute bloody nonsense. If it could be done, it could be done. You know, no one's going around, you know, no one's murdered Elon Musk, you know, because he's producing loads and loads of electric cars. You know, electric cars are going to kill the oil industry, aren't they? You know, he'll say, oh, well, they'll be murdered to protect, you know, Exxon and all these sort of people. No one's going around killing designers of electric cars, are they? They're going to do exactly the same thing. So this argument is absolute, complete and utter nonsense.
Does work. How can you say that it's been debunked when the guy who invented it was framed and then killed?
Well, he got done for swindling a lot of investors. So if he was murdered, and I'm not sure that he was, it was he probably defrauded the wrong person out of a lot of money. And that person sent a couple of guys to take him out to dinner and kill him. I think it's as simple as that. It wouldn't have been anything to do with the water-powered car being real. It would be because he'd peddled it as real. He'd taken a lot of money off the wrong person, and that wrong person contracted his killing. I think that's what that would be all about, if in fact he was murdered.
He was poisoned. None of his patents were taken up by anyone after his death. Can you blame them? They were terrified.
No, I mean, if Elon Musk could do it, he'd be doing it, wouldn't he? You know, are they going to kill everybody in Tesla? Every design engineer? You know, it's complete and utter nonsense. Absolute drivel. Conspiracy stuff is just lie after lie after lie after lie. The only thing you never ever get from this truth movement is the truth. But Ben's not really smart enough to, he's not got the critical thinking ability to be able to think of this sort of thing. He just thinks one guy is going to be murdered because he's making a water-powered car, you know. Not huge corporation like Tesla making a water-powered car. You know, if Musk could do it, he'd do it. Lots and lots of people out there would be doing it. It's nonsense. It just doesn't work. It's rubbish.
They didn't want to go out to a restaurant and end up dropping brown bread like he did.
Well, don't swindle the wrong person out of a lot of money then.
The Wardenclyffe Tower device was designed to work the opposite way around to the way described by Ben. It was to use extremely high AC voltage, today called RF, to transmit power through the air. The power was generated in a conventional way by a huge generator which was connected to the dome of the Earth. This will produce the same effect as standing near a broadcast radio station antenna with a neon tube. The tube would light up. That's actually not the opposite way I describe it. I described it as part of an experiment done by Tesla.
It is. It's exactly the opposite way to the way Kremlin Jones describes it. Kremlin Jones says it takes free energy out of the air and puts it into the grid. That's the opposite. That is impossible. It's nonsense. Can't be done. Generating you know, high voltage AC, of course, can be done. Radio transmitters do it all the time. They connect it to an antenna, it radiates through the air. And what Tesla was going to do was have a high frequency, high voltage generator, connect it to the dome, and it would radiate this energy through the air. It's not free energy though. You know, he's still got to generate all that power with the big generator at the bottom of the tower. This guy's completely and utterly clueless. I think that's the problem with this guy. He just doesn't understand it. He's got no idea what he's talking about.
Now, Tesla, this was an experimental power station. Regardless of whether it was a transmitter or a receiver, it was part of a system which Tesla, a principle that Tesla wanted to demonstrate.
Receiving free energy out of the air and connecting it to the grid, distributing it around the grid is what you said, Jones, Mr. Kremlin Jones, and that's absolute, complete and utter rubbish. Why does he do these presentations to these people that are obviously gullible, they don't understand it, you know? Why does he want people, why is he spreading all this nonsense, all these lies, you know? Why does he want people to believe all these conspiracy lies. It's just nonsense. It's just bloody nonsense.
Tesla had a poor understanding of RF, that's radio frequency, I think.
It is.
And denied the existence of Hertzian waves.
Hertzian waves.
Don't know what those are. You have probably heard of kilohertz, megahertz and gigahertz, etc. Yes, I have. That's why he proposed a dome to radiate his RF instead of a resonant antenna, which would have been on many orders of magnitude more effective. Right, I don't have an answer to that, Steve. That's too technical for me.
And that is that's the crux of the matter, really. It's too technical for him. He does not understand what he's talking about. He has no idea how this stuff is supposed to work. That's why he'll tell you this science fiction nonsense about pulling the energy out of the air, free energy, and putting it onto the grid is possible. Because he's got no idea, he really can't tell that it is impossible, that it's not possible. So Hertzian waves, Tesla denied the existence of Hertzian waves, you know, Mr. Hertz. And of course we use you know, megahertz, kilohertz, hertz, terahertz to measure the frequency of radio signals or audio signals or analog signals today. You know, kilohertz, hertz, kilohertz, megahertz, Hertzian waves. Yet Tesla didn't understand that. If Tesla had understood that, he would have used resonant antennas and just not a big copper dome that he was going to charge with all this high volt AC, high frequency AC. It would have been much more efficient to use a resonant antenna. He would have got his light bulbs to light up further away. Not that he would have got them to light up very far away anyway. I mean, the whole process, I mean, it can be done, but it's extremely inefficient, and you wouldn't want to be standing around it either. It'd be quite dangerous. Anyway, there we go. It's just more Kremlin Jones, absolute bloody rubbish, complete and utter nonsense. Free energy, drivel, you know, all this Tesla stuff, absolute nonsense. All right, well, I think my paint is probably going to be dry enough for me to give it another coat. So maybe I'll catch you again.